If you're someone that's considering either buying a home in anywhere in the city of Surrey or selling a home in the city of Surrey the month of March 2025, you're definitely going to want to watch this video because I think the information in it today is going to surprise you. I'm going to let you know a little bit about what is happening with the market for all different types of properties, including condominiums, townhomes, and detached homes, as well as where the market is likely headed and who has an advantage in this market, and as well as some things to consider. So if that sounds good, let's jump into it.
Chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right.
That was pretty snazzy, right? Perfect. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Surrey real estate. So, starting with condominiums, what is going on in the condominium market? Well, what I'm showing you right here is called the sales to active ratio. Okay. Sales to active ratio really just tells us how many properties are coming to the market versus how many people are removing them from the market, actually buying those properties and snapping them up. So, whenever the market is within a certain threshold, we can get a little bit of an idea of where the market may be headed and also who has the advantage in that particular market. So, what you can see here, that red line represents what we call a balanced market. And you can see we're well below that. A balanced market is usually between 15 to 20% of the inventory coming to the market is selling. That means there's no real advantage to either party. And what does 15 to 20% mean? Well, effectively 15 to 20% means 20% would be one out of five homes coming to the market sell. So that's usually a healthy real estate market that's relatively balanced and whatnot. You can see we're down at 10%. So that's roughly about one out of 10 properties that are coming to the market in relation to condos in the city of Surrey are actually selling. And that's not overly awesome. That has had an impact on pricing. So you can see here over the last year or so, the pricing has fluctuated quite a bit, and it came in at a high of about 550, and now it's floating in around about 530,000. So while the graph looks, relatively sharp in terms of decline, when you actually look at the numbers that it's declined, it's not a huge number. So to put those in perspective a little bit, in the last month, the price of condos are down only about $1,300, and in the last year, they're down just shy of $1,900 from the benchmark price of where they once were. So, what does this all mean? Well, let's talk a little bit about who's got an advantage in this market. So, when you're talking about condominiums in the city of Surrey, the advantage is definitely in favor of the buyers. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of advice to anybody looking to buy a home. It's a little bit different than I might if you weren't maybe a first time home buyer. So, if you're not a first time home buyer, perhaps this doesn't apply. But my warning to you is to be careful on trying to time the market. The reason I say that is prices have definitely changed. If we go back and we look year over year, you're down about $1,800 or so, or 18,000 rather. But the reason I say careful on timing the market is you want to consider if you're not in the property game, if you don't own a home, you're not actually saving money through each mortgage payment towards your property, meaning it's going into the bank of equity. And you are spending money on rent somewhere, I'm assuming. So, that money is going into your landlord's pocket, helping them shorten their 25-year life cycle of owning a mortgage on their property rather than your own. So just be careful about that and trying to time the market. What I will add, however, is there's going to be likely this sort of advantage for the buyers for quite some time. And there's really one big reason for that is that the new construction market is stalled. There's a lot of new developments that have been released, come to the market, that sort of thing, that can't get rid of their product. And it's obviously very expensive. It's got GST on it and that sort of thing. So those properties are still yet to come to the market. Many of them have already, but there is a lot of inventory that is still yet to come. And you've been reading in the newspaper that developers are having challenges with that. So for the short term, this sort of market is not going away. It's going to be difficult to sell a condo for a seller. Pricing really matters. You can price it whatever your little heart desires, but if it's not priced properly, it is going to sit because of the amount of competition that is out there on the market. So just keep that in mind if you are thinking of selling a home, because you do have to attract a buyer. You do have to woo them, and condos are all relatively very similar. This new construction is going to create an opportunity for buyers as well. I want you to think fast forward. You remember during COVID, pardon me, not COVID, the writers' strike, where nobody was making any movies. There was a big strike, and nothing was going to come to Netflix. And we've actually seen that. I don't know if you've noticed, but there hasn't been a lot of new TV over the last 6 months or so. And that was because of that Hollywood writers' strike. There wasn't a lot of stuff being filmed, therefore it's not coming to the market today. Well, put that into perspective for condos now. If land is crazy expensive and interest rates have been really high and developers are in trouble, that means a lot of them are choosing not to continue on building properties right now. They're not snapping up new developments, which will be coming to the market. If they were but to buy them today, let's say they're 5 years away from now. That's going to create a monstrous opportunity for anybody that does get into the condo market within the next few years, because the availability of new construction just simply is not going to be there. Therefore, people are going to be pushed back into the resale market, making it even busier. So it's not happening today, but it is something that is on the horizon. So there is a good opportunity there to get in while we might be at the low or the lower end of the pricing. And sellers, we told you pricing matters. I think you know that. Now let's jump into townhomes here. So what are townhomes doing in the city of Surrey? Well, they came in at 18% sales to active ratio. So they are in fact right in that balanced market territory, which means there's no real advantage to either party. This is what pricing has done over the last year. You can see it was at a peak of about 890,000, and it's down just around about 840,000. So in the last month, the benchmark price of a townhome in the city of Surrey is down about $8,300, while year over year it's down almost $30,000. So there certainly has been some changes there. I still would keep my comments. If you are renting, you're not in the market, you've got a family, maybe you have the ability to spend a little more money, or you need more space for your next home. Don't forget, if you are paying rent somewhere, that money obviously is going somewhere and not into your own pocket. But in this type of market, the advantage again is certainly there for the buyer. Why is the advantage there for a buyer in a balanced market? Well, I'm going to give you a warning. You are in a balanced market. What's going on, generally speaking, with the economy and whatnot, which we will touch on momentarily in a minute. But what's going on in the economy and whatnot, you do have to be careful watching that market. Be very, very careful about timing and trying to time the market as well. We are coming into spring. It's March when I'm filming this. So the spring market is usually when the most amount of properties transact. And typically the prices may improve in spring as well. So just be very, very careful. And the reason it says missing middle there as well, as we know, there is a very big demand for properties right now, and people need space, especially young families who have challenges affording real estate. Well, the perfect solution for that is, the reality is, townhomes, because they are still affordable for a working couple who's got a down payment and can afford the mortgage, and it offers them the space that they need to either start or have their family in. So that missing middle is going to continue to be, or the middle kind of road for these particular type of properties, is going to continue to be the target for many, many people. So that market, I am predicting that it will improve into the spring. However, there's a really good opportunity right now because it hasn't started yet. And if you're thinking of buying a townhome, it's definitely a good time to consider doing so. Let's talk a little bit about detached. So you can see the red line there is stretched out quite a bit more than it was on some of the other graphs. And why is the reason for that? Well, detached homes are having a lot of trouble right now in the city of Surrey. So you can see the sales to active ratio is 8.6%. If you got a calculator out at home, you let me know, but it's probably about 1 out of 11, 1 out of 12 properties that are coming to the market are selling, which is very, very difficult for a seller, very difficult to sell a home in those types of conditions. So that has had an impact in pricing. And I find this quite interesting. You're going to notice on here that prices actually show that they have gone up in the last 2 months, in fact, or last couple months rather, which is very interesting considering the amount of properties competing against each other. So what does this mean? Well, I really consider this a blip. There must have been some sales that impacted the market. It could have been the type of properties that were listed. And the numbers we're looking at there is not average, it's the home price index. It's much more scientific than just saying what is the average amount of the properties that sold. However, I do consider that a blip because there's just too much inventory out there versus the amount of people that are actually buying those homes. So with that being said, in the last month, this is reporting that prices for detached homes are up about $14,700, but year over year, you're only down about $3,500. Here's the pricing year over year. And I don't know if you can see this here, but from where we started to where it was about a year ago in February of 2024, we're very, very close to where we actually were. So what does this mean? Well, the advantage is certainly there for the buyers. I don't really care that the average price said it was going up, because I very much struggle to think that that's a reality. I would think that most of the homes out there, and in fact, what I've seen, most of the homes out there are sitting. Days on market is collecting, and there's some good opportunity to be a home buyer out there. So there's lots of inventory to choose from right now. You've got a really good opportunity to negotiate a very, very good deal on a property. And sellers, pricing matters. It's incredible the difference of even a home that's slightly overpriced by a few percentage points, how incredibly quiet it can be versus one that will sell because it is actually actively advertising an appropriate price, which buyers are going to buy it under. If we continue under these market conditions where we're seeing the sales active ratio remain down there, I do suspect prices will continue to drop, and we will buck that little point up in pricing that we're seeing on that graph there. And prices will definitely remain challenged. So that is a little bit about the pricing. Now, what's really driving the market here, guys? Well, these are the really big things that drive the market, mortgage rates. So we are roughly about 2% below where we were at the peak of mortgages, and they're likely going to continue dropping. I mean, nobody knows for sure, but based on what's going on in the economy and whatnot, or more so south of the border and all of the chit chat back and forth, mortgage rates likely are going to continue to drop, but we'll have to see what happens, obviously. Economic shifts, that's the big story of the day. Filming this in March, there's a lot of talk about tariffs with our neighbors down south, and it seems to change every single day. But what I will tell you is markets like certainty, stock markets like certainty, the housing market like certainty. People are reluctant to buy when they're unsure of what's going to happen. And they're unsure and reluctant to buy when they think that the price of the home they might purchase today may be cheaper tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on what's happening with that. But most of the times too, I will add that people buy homes or sell to buy homes because of life changes, less so about the actual pricing of the home itself. So not everybody treats homes like a stock ticker. They're upgrading their home because they're having a family, or they're downsizing their home because maybe somebody passed away, or they're selling their home because there was a job opportunity somewhere else, or whatever that might be. So just be careful of that and keep that all in mind. The demand of homes we know is still really quite high. So there is lots of people waiting on the sidelines, waiting for that economic certainty before they make their move, because the mortgage rates have come down and they are still there ready to open their wallets as soon as they see some certainty. We are going into the spring market here as well, which is traditionally the busier market of the entire year. We are filming this in March, so usually this is right around when it would start. So keep an eye on that. You want to pay attention. And I don't really expect a lot of local policy changes either at this time. The government of BC did a ton of stuff last year that really shook up the market, but I don't really see anything on the radar anyways as of right now that's going to have a huge impact. So keep tuned to the YouTube channel to see what happens with that. What I will leave you guys with here as well, that is not a slide that was for you. What I do want to leave you here as well is, if you're a home seller and you're curious what your home's value is today in this current market, you can just direct message us or send us an email. There is a link below in the description to be able to contact us, and we'll give you an accurate estimate of what your home would sell for in today's market if you were deciding to do something. If you're somebody that's looking at buying, there's also a guide down below with the availability to get access to 21 grants and rebates available to home buyers and homeowners that are available right now. There's a lot of interesting stuff on there. It's basically free money. So if you were thinking of buying, you do want to grab a copy of that, and also set up a time to speak with us as well about buying your next home. The last thing I would add is that if you are thinking of buying a home, you may consider getting access to our BC Home Buyers course. I'm going to play a quick video for you guys, and then I'll be back to show you what's going on with that.
Chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right.
That was not the video. Here's the video for you.
The BC Home Buyers course, your ultimate guide to buying your first home with confidence and precision. With over 3 hours of comprehensive video content, you can learn at your own pace whenever and wherever you want. You can sign up by visiting bchomebuyers.90daysout.ca or checking the description in this video for more details.
So right now, we usually sell that course for $347. And right now we are giving away 100 spots in that course for absolutely free. And in fact, the first 10 people that sign up will get access to some bonus materials as well as some audio downloads to be able to listen to it in your car. But this is the premier course of what people are using all across British Columbia to buy their first home successfully. Make sure they do it right, avoid spending money unnecessarily, and avoid all the pitfalls that are out there that can sting you as a home buyer. So if you're interested, that's available right now, but only for a very limited time for a very limited amount of people. Anyways, hit us up if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on the market and where you think it's headed. And we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.